You guys are going home 100%.
We will all be speaking Chinese.
I will kick your ass.
New Jeans super shy.
So how does it feel to be unemployed?
I don't know, you'll know soon.
Don't give a fuck what you gotta say about me. You can call me whatever you want.
Spike planted.
PaperX, Crew, Giants, and Edward Gaming all made Group A. Going into this stage, most people predicted that EDG and PaperX would be the winners of this group. It turns out this assessment would be correct, as PaperX played a very dominant game against Crew, sending them to the lower bracket. EDG would play against Giants in a very competitive game that would span 3 maps, but eventually it would be won by EDG. Surprisingly, Kenkeng would not be the main reason why EDG won against Giants, but nobody and Chichu playing above everybody's expectations. EDG and PaperX would then play each other. On Fracture, PaperX had a decisive map win, but on Pearl, the game looked like it was poised to go to a map 3. Unfortunately for EDG, PaperX made an incredible comeback and ended up winning the second map, sending EDG to play the winner of Crew and Giants. In the match between Crew and Giants, Crew had a very sad game. For all the momentum that they had from LCQ, they could not even get a win on the international stage. Kesnet and Davies tried their best, but their individual performances were not enough to stop Giants from winning. Giants vs EDG had some beef going into it, as Kenkeng would go on an interview to say that Giants were a trash team.
In our eyes, they're basically just trash.
Oh, wow, okay. I mean, we feel good. Maybe this trash team is gonna win against EDG, who knows? So
this is also after a comment made by Giants Gaming saying that EDG were overrated. So this is a match that had a lot of animosity going into it. For all the trash talk that did occur, EDG backed up what they said on the server. They didn't look weak at any point. They 2-0'd Giants and sent them packing to EMEA. Everybody in EDG had a pop-off moment, but none like Kenkeng winning a 2v1 on Split while blinded. This kid is going to be a superstar.
And this is the man you'd want in that scenario, but both players up above, a flash ready, dodges it! What? Truly unbelievable! With 11 HP left as well.
PaperX look in incredible form with something. His impact on Jet and Breach is undeniable, and with Mindfreak and Forsaken hitting their stride, they look like they're going to go deep in the tournament.
Lovely response, ready for it, and something in their faces. Here I stand, he screams it at them.
EDG have played better than their run in Tokyo, and it's not just the Kenkeng show anymore. Smaji, Chichu, and nobody are stepping up to cover when Kenkeng is not carrying. Not to discredit Kenkeng, as he is still performing great and might be the best opera at this event. T1, Foot, Evil Geniuses, and Fun plus Phoenix were the teams for Group B. It's interesting because this might be the easiest group to play in Champions. The competition is pretty evenly matched between T1, Foot, and FPX, but Evil Geniuses are sort of the outlier in the whole group. Evil Geniuses had a really easy ride to the playoff stage, and this is backed up by the fact that they won against FPX and Foot without dropping a map. T1 vs Foot was probably the least anticipated game of this event, and people were right, this was mid-Valorant at its best. I said T1 had some potential and they weren't living up to it, but goodness, was watching T1 vs Foot boring, with Foot being the eventual winner of the matchup. T1 would then have to bounce back against FPX, but this is the standard we expect from them. Foot would end up surprising T1 by beating them again in the rematch, and not letting them win a single map against them. Foot looked solid against EG. They pushed them back a bit, but not enough to win any maps, and against T1 they look solid. I keep doubting this Turkish team, but they have taken the last couple of tournaments and really polished their fundamentals. The task ahead in playoffs is a bit rough, but I truly believe they have the chance to upset several teams if they remain consistent. Although it looks like smooth sailing for EG, Boostio came out and said that China would never be on the level of NA. And when it's jokingly said, it's fine, but when you start to show arrogance, that's when it's bad. To top it off with Demon 1 body shooting being controversial, a stance that I neither agree with or disagree with, And now the community have gone from liking EG and seeing them as underdogs to seeing them as pricks. No, EG, you don't look like the villains out there. This isn't an anime. You just look like arrogant a-holes, and to be honest, it's kinda cringe.
Spike planted.
I think this was seen as the most predictable group heading into this event. With teams like Zeta Division, Bilibili Gaming, NRG, and Fnatic, it seemed pretty clear-cut that Fnatic and NRG were the favorites to move on to the playoffs. And while this is true for Fnatic, NRG, it isn't as clear. In typical Optic fashion, a wildcard APAC team in Bilibili Gaming would upset NRG. Not on one, but two back-to-back maps, and trust me when I say it was infuriating to watch as an NRG fan. I would describe the feeling as getting killed by a shotgun player in ranked, because that's exactly what happened. YZ decided that he wanted to run the judge, having all the money in the world to buy a Vandal, and I'm not sure how, but NRG could just not adjust to this ridiculous strat. It also doesn't help that NRG blew all of their mana advantages. Anyhow, after we got the most awkward press conference ever with NRG and the camera cutting to the funniest "how did I let this happen" moment, void stare by FNS, Bilibili Gaming would then be destroyed by Fnatic. NRG had to play an elimination game against Zeta Division, and on buying things were very close. And we also got what was the longest tech pause we have ever seen. So long that Chet got some sleep, and after being down 3-6, the power nap helped NRG to get the win on Bind. Then, on Haven, NRG looked pissed and absolutely annihilated Zeta Division, with the only round win from Zeta Division coming from Depp getting an insane ace. Artists would then go on a post-game interview and promise that they would not lose to Bilibili.
You guys are going home, 100%. Guaranteed, I promise you that.
Alright, he's saying 100%. We're gonna have to wait for that match as we send it back to you guys.
And surprise, surprise, all the trash talk artists did ended up backfiring on NRG. NRG could not get one map off of Bilibili Gaming. Have we ever seen any other sport? Sports karma is a thing. Remember when players were stepping on team logos? This is the equivalent in esports. The worst part is that you couldn't even back it up in the server. There's only one clip that describes this awful game.
You blew it!
Now please, go get El Diablo. In all honesty, congratulations to Bilibili Gaming. You proved to everyone that China is a legit region.
What's up, friends in LA? Did we surprise you?
Oh, he's giving it.
He's giving You guys fucking suck! You guys fucking suck! Come to China, bitch! Wait, what?
And yeah, for Fnatic, they're so good, they're just making K-pop references out there. The group of death, disappointment, despair, depression? I'm not sure, but Group D was the most packed group of the tournament, made of Loud, DRX, Team Liquid, and NAVI. DRX had an identity issue, not knowing whether to play Zest or Foxy9. Loud had behind-the-scenes drama between Les and Aspas. Team Liquid were enigmas of performance consistency. And NAVI, well, they just like to troll. Regardless of all of that, two of these teams were bound to make it out of the group stage. NAVI versus Team Liquid was the first game of the week, and it brought an amazing two maps where teams were going back and forth, exchanging consecutive rounds, and in overtime, defensive rounds. But NAVI ended up winning it out. Nats was literally the no-help LeBron meme. Dude was out here sweating in the server trying to keep Liquid from throwing their match, even landing an insane jumping wallbang, but his efforts were not enough to even win one map. The same day we had Loud facing DRX. The difference between these two teams is that while both of these teams have roster drama, DRX seem to have found what works for them, and that is running with Zest. Not to say that Loud looked bad. They won their first map in overtime, but couldn't find the momentum to win the following two maps. Their loss looked like it was due to lack of chemistry, and with them coming to the press conference with Aspas, it made Loud fans very concerned, especially after seeing Aspas tilt mid-game.
Quer saber por que o Aspas não tá na coletiva?
Porque Aspas não está aqui.
Eu acho que é questão de saúde, né? A gente não pode falar muito sobre.
NAVI and DRX put on a clinic on Bind, sending it into overtime and it looking extremely competitive, but DRX would win the map. Then on Split we would get a less exciting map as DRX managed to win with a comfortable lead. And on Lotus we had another exciting overtime map where DRX closed the series, sending them to playoffs. Later in the week we got Team Liquid versus Loud, and we were in a situation where both these teams looked dysfunctional after their respective losses. Team Liquid absolutely trolled Haven by only winning 2 rounds and threw on the attack rounds on Split. I've never seen such a collapse of a team like this before, and you know, the funny thing is, Liquid is already starting the contract extensions for some of these players. Yampy, Safe, and Nats are all signed for the foreseeable future, so any dreams of roster changes are most likely not happening. The last match for this group was NAVI versus Loud, and after all these games you would get the impression that NAVI should win this as they looked like they were playing consistent Valorant with good compositions. The reality is that these games were far closer. Every map resulted in a 13-11. On Pearl, NAVI won the map with CNED and Angel fragging out. I know, what a surprise, Angel fragging out. Then on Ascent, Loud proved that this is their home map. While keeping it close, were able to win and close out the map. On Bind, NAVI were so close, but Loud just edged them out, and they were the better team that day. Group D was the best group to watch in my opinion. Yes, there was a lot of backstage drama and low expectations for some of these teams, but the quality of gameplay we got from them was unmatched. Loud looked like some of their chemistry was returning, but I feel like even if they win, this will probably be the end of Aspas as a Loud member, because the man wants to get paid. DRX on the other hand look in prime form, and have risen up in many people's eyes as contenders to possibly win it all.
But it's RB, the final boss from DRX. He has been a god for this squad, and he might just be again. Oh, he's still got the turret. Tui's is screwed, and I think he knows it. Pops down the smoke. He's toying with it. Oh, 3 bullets! It's all he needed. 3 bullets to seal it. DRX, god tier performance.
The playoff stage begins on Wednesday, and we have some impressive matchups going into it. Fnatic versus Loud, PaperRex versus Foot Esports, DRX versus Bilibili Gaming, and Evil Geniuses versus Edward Gaming. Here are my predictions on how this might pan out. It gets harder to predict the deeper it goes, as some of these teams are turning out to be pretty good, but I still think Fnatic will win the whole tournament at the end of the day. Agree? Disagree? Let me know in the comments below, and if you like my content, stay tuned for more videos like the recent Congratulations series that I'll be making for most of the playoff teams. I'll also be doing roster mania videos in the off season, and I should have a video about the off season and all the tier 2 events that are coming very soon. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.